because there's something kind of similar to that, and the right takes complete advantage of it and makes them look like fools when they do it. It's called a gun buyback. They will have these gun buybacks where they're like, bring your gun, no questions asked. We'll give you $300, drop it in the box, and these guys will make the bare minimum for what is considered a firearm, legally speaking. So it's technically a gun, and it'll cost $13, and they'll just start selling them to the police at a profit, and they ruin those things.
I like the other one where it's like you trade in your AR for $1,500, and I'm out there offering $1,600 for it. Like, they're not paying you enough.
Yeah, no, that's smart.
That's good too. Undercutting it.
I remember those NRA commercials when I was a kid, and they were showing the UK, and they had all these beautiful over and under sporting shotguns, and they were using a chop saw one after another to destroy them, just right down through the middle, just one after another. And I remember us watching that commercial and being like, how much money can we send? How much money can we send? Because it was like watching like a puppy mill, or like to me, those things are beautiful works of art. Like those are not the guns that are doing violence upon anyone. Those were expensive works of art. Craftsmen, artisans worked on those. The metal work, the leafing, the wood was probably sourced from some fucking fancy forest. And they're just one after another, chopping them in half.
You know who's happy to see those destroyed are like all the onlooking birds on the high wire. Like, fuck them all.
Every horny Nigerian with a 3-inch blade is happy to see those things get chopped in half. That's who.
Yeah.
I saw one.
Did you see this? This like there's some politician lady, like a low level Democrat from like Colorado or something, and it was like literally like a comedy sketch where she's like in her backyard with like fucking goggles on and like a saw, like a mechanical saw to like cut this gun apart, and she's like, there's no reason to have these guns in America, these are weapons of war. And then she just like immediately illegally saws the barrel off to where it's now like a short barreled rifle, and like it's still totally functional. It doesn't like make it not work, like taking the barrel off. And she's like, see, that's how easy it is. And every comment's like, that's a class 1 felony. What she just did. Does anybody keep an eye on this? Like, why cut the barrel off if you're trying to destroy
it's the easy part to cut.
I guess so. Yeah, you're trying to make a quick TikTok. You're not going to, really grind through the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't even know if we have an ATF director. I saw they removed Kash Patel and put somebody else in there, maybe today or yesterday.
No, is he? Wait, so he's still FBI, but he's not ATF.
Correct.
Okay. But has the ATF done anything good?
I'm not the one to ask about that.
Well, okay, they've done one good thing. They got one miscreant off the streets, but
I didn't have any issues with ATF
news, so I'm guessing they just haven't been active. I don't know.
I see every now and then I'm getting like on my feed like gun legislation stuff. Like they don't like the way certain things are going, but I don't follow that at all. No, I haven't really had any issues with ATF, but a lot of other people have. That Ruby Ridge thing, and that the Branch Davidians that all got burnt alive.
Was Waco ATF?
ATF and FBI, yeah.
Okay.
I think the guys
long ago. It was last millennia. Like
that was Janet Reno, right? And
Bill Clinton.
Was that her name? Janet Reno?
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
She was Clinton's, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I know it was the Clintons.
Like 94, I think.
And I know 94 was Clinton.
Yeah. That's awful. And then Ruby Ridge is even harder to like watch and learn about. So, when you see the heavy-handed government agencies doing that sort of thing to private citizens, it's a little concerning.
What would Woody, you're the only one that would have memory of this in 93 when this happened. What was the news and what were people saying the Branch Davidians were all about? Like what'd they say?
They said it was a cult that, is it David Koresh? Was he the leader? Mm-hmm. He was banging all the women in it, and that they all worshipped him, and he made himself to be some sort of Jesus, that they were heavily armed and they were dangerous. That was kind of my takeaway. And to be honest, I haven't been re-educated since. Like, were those things not true?
Yeah. I think that we had Wendigo.
Yeah, he talked about it briefly.
And he had done some research on it because like the crux of the issue is whether there was child molestation going on. Because I think what we were told was that there were these pamphlets that were teaching the kids like about sex with adults, and like I think that David Koresh was the idea. What was said was that he was having sex with not just the women but all the females. Basically, he had made himself a harem type situation, and they were clearly armed and dangerous and a cult. So all that is seemingly true, but they burnt all the children alive. So
yeah,
probably would have been better off getting molested if you think about it.
I looked at it through the lens of Move. No one knows about Moved, but I lived outside Philly when it happened, maybe 1985. If that's not right, it's darn close. And those people fucking sucked. And they made a mistake by dropping a firebomb on top of connected homes to burn out many innocent people. Okay. Let's agree. When a city block burned down, perhaps it went wrong. But it was the same sort of thing. Like they went in there with those people needed to be dealt with. They were terrorizing that thing in the way that is it Aurora, the Venezuelan gang? They were what Tren de Aragua is said to be, right? They were that.
The Move bombing. Can I read the description for those who
I think
it happened before I was born. The Move bombing, also known as the Philadelphia Move bombing, was an incident that occurred on May 13th, 1985, when the Philadelphia Police Department dropped a satchel bomb on a house in West Philadelphia where members of the Black liberation group Move were residing. The bombing resulted in the deaths of 11 people, including 5 children, and the destruction of over 60 homes. The event remains a controversial topic, with some questioning the city's decision to use a bomb and the subsequent aftermath.
Damn.
Yeah. So Kyle called it a house. I'm sure he read it correctly. It was a row home, so they were all connected.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a single family home, and that's how it got so out of control.
They dropped it from a helicopter, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know. There were probably a lot of bad hombres in that block.
There were a lot of truly terrible hombres. They were awful. And they were terrorizing everyone around. They were selling drugs. They were victimizing people physically. Like they were bad people that you don't want as neighbors. And the police kind of prioritized their own safety by dropping a bomb from a helicopter instead of going in there like a SWAT team.
Yeah. Move isn't a very intimidating cult or gang name. It sounds like a way to stay fit or something.
I hadn't looked at it through like a clear lens. To me, Move is the fucking worst. But now that you say it,
Move sounds like an all-women's gym or something.
It does.
It's like, oh man, they named their group after what they don't do if they pass you on a crowded sidewalk. They throw a shoulder into you rudely. Yeah. Well, damn, the Move bombing.
Yeah, they were to me, they're the original Branch Davidians, bad hombres taking over something, kind of a cult. You don't want them as neighbors. Police handled it all wrong. Yeah, but
the possibly Branch Davidians,
to prioritize their own safety. Go ahead.
To be the big difference. White people, come on. No, they weren't in the middle of a city bothering people. They did the opposite of that. They went out in the middle of fucking nowhere and built a compound so they could do their own thing. You would think some Americans would be able to see the beauty of that. That's how we came here to this beautiful country, running from persecution of the Anglican Church, maybe. Look into that.
I certainly won't.
How long could they hold out? It would seem like siege tactics would be equally safe and effective. I'll tell you what, if you make it so I can't come or leave, and by the way, deliveries don't come. We ran out of food in this house. We ran out of good food in like 3 or 4 days. We run out of crap food 10 days after that, and then we give ourselves up.
Yeah.
I think that they were prepared for something like that.
It's so funny to give up on your siege because you ran out of food that you liked.
Yeah,
that's how I would do it. They'd be like, "Man,
officer, I'm down to saltines. Take me."
Well, I mean, I got a bunch of old tilapia in the freezer, and I'm not eating that. And
They had stockpiled
no
months worth of food. They had months worth of food. They had many. They had dozens and dozens of 50-pound sacks of grain. Like they didn't just have like hamburger helper. They were ready. They were prepared like for a medieval siege. It was like that. I was watching some Game of Thrones clips on YouTube the other day, and it's the part where Jaime Lannister goes and he talks to the Blackfish, and he's like, "I have food for 2 years. You have 2 years, Kingslayer." And it's like, fuck, I don't.
All right, new plan. You cut my internet, I'll be out in 3 hours.
Yeah, that would do it. Take your Xbox Live out. Not much to do. Although
even your single player games don't work offline nowadays.
All I could find in my house were fucking books. And so I gave up. None of that. Yeah, I wouldn't like being under siege. That would suck. I'd rather be the besieger.
It'd be fun at first, no?
Yeah, the besieger is a great person to be because you get to like, if I'm surrounding your house and it's 5 days in, it's like, all right, give me the most delicious smelling chicken wings and I'm going to eat them like within scent shot of him. And it's like, oh, I sure wish you'd come out here. We could share.
I have chicken wings.
But really,
I'm thinking of a medieval siege. I think I want to be the besieged. I want to be behind those city walls with like all my creature comforts while they sit out there in the rain. I mean, not always. Some sieges went the way of the besieged. I was learning about Tyre the other day. Alexander the Great conquering Tyre. Have you ever looked into that story? So yes. Tyre is off the coast significantly. It was this island fortress. And Alexander couldn't take it because he'd have to come out with boats. It's an island. So what he did was he went to the mainland and he built a fucking land bridge. He just started putting sand and rocks in the ocean until he built a land bridge all the way to Tyre. And then he could use his catapults from the land bridge and he conquered the city. And to this day, Tyre is not an island.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
He wanted it.
Did they replace the land bridge with a suspended bridge so you could drive through on your boat?
His land bridge is sufficient. It changed the geography.
Not if you're a boat.
Oh, well, no, you can't. Zach, show us a picture of Tyre, and it'll be more.
Not Tyreek Hill, Google.
No, he built a land bridge that is still there and part of the geography there, and it doesn't look like it was ever an island. It's just a weird little peninsula that juts off from the coast now. Man,
can you imagine how panic-inducing that would, like, the emotional high you would have being like, even Alexander the Great can't conquer Tyre. What's he fucking doing over there?
So
what's he doing over there? Oh, what is he trying to build a bridge? That couldn't work. Could that work?
So that's a drawing, obviously. If you could find a modern, there you go. Perfect. That's what it looks like now.
Yeah, so it's expanded.
So that the width of it didn't used to be there?
It did. He built.
I would imagine that it was smaller and then it accumulated over time. Maybe, I don't know.
It was quite wide. His siege engines were firing from the land bridge he created, so they would have been wide. It definitely would have been that wide, but it was not some little causeway, like narrow bridge, like was depicted in that drawing.
It'd be funny if they shot cannonballs back at them, and they're like, "He just made the bridge better."
I don't think they had even stronger.
I don't think they had black powder yet.
No,
maybe in the Far East.
Rocks and catapults. It still holds true. Bridge is just improving.
Any amount of rocks that miss you become land. That's what would have passed as like very wise back then. You'd be like, advisor, what do I do? And it's like, Alexander, does not every shaft of arrow and missed stone become part of your marvelous bridge? And he's like, oh, fucking so true. And then the guy's like back in his tent. He's like, safe for another day. I don't know. I'm going to keep coming up with this. This guy's getting smart. He's realizing I'm bullshitting. Dude, Alexander the Great was such a cool historical figure.